For a while, I had a sore throat, but I lost my voice, and I still feel like it's a struggle to talk now. So I'm gonna keep it at an even keel here because I got a speaking engagement on Monday, and I have to do my radio show 3 hours. So I have to be cool. I am so fortunate. I'm blessed, and I am not worthy of it at all. That's what's so amazing about it. I don't see where I deserve it at all, but I'm grateful. And it's a life that I never, if I knew as a kid, but I forgot that it existed. And it's amazing to me how God, my Father, give me insight and just really, really treat me well, and I don't deserve it. One of the reasons that most people don't look at themselves, they don't want to get to know themselves, because when they do look at themselves, they see that they're no good. And so what they do when they see that, they get depressed. You know, they become suicidal. They take medication in order to forget that they're no good, because they want to feel good. The ego always want to feel like it's important, and they want to feel good. And so if you're not aware of that, you cannot handle seeing that you're no good. And I really can see, if you're not ready for true salvation or to be born again, you might as well just continue to be a walking dead. Most people are walking dead and they don't know it. I was at a meeting yesterday and I saw it so clearly, and I was like, wow, it's just so unfortunate. They can't see, and I couldn't either up until the last 28, 29 years now. I didn't know I was a walking dead. You know, I was having fun, partying and doing all that kind of stuff. But yeah, in those quiet moments, alone moments, I could feel that sense of something's wrong, something's missing, just to know how to overcome it. But human beings, except for those who've been born again, are walking dead. They are not connected to the tree of life, and so they really don't have a life. And they don't know it. They're just dying and have no idea about it. It was really, really a sad situation to see that yesterday. So I'm grateful, and hopefully that others will start waking up. My question today is, I want to know, are you seeking security in finance or accomplishments or anything? You know, power, accomplishment. You know, everybody's trying to accomplish a lot. They wake up in the morning, got to go out and accomplish something to be successful at something. And so I want to know, are you seeking security in accomplishment or finance or anything, power or anything like that? Influence. People love to influence. How do you seek security? In what area?
Oh, man, not 100% sure about that. I mean, like, go to work, make sure I have a place to stay.
I'm sorry?
Going to work, having a place to stay, all of that kind of stuff. Right. But beyond that, do you mean like going for something larger than just your basics?
Right.
Okay. Do I find security in like?
What do you find security in?
I'm not sure. Reading books, thinking.
Reading books and thinking?
Yeah, kind of like that's my time to kind of get away. And I guess if I don't get that, I don't feel as secure.
What type of security do you find in reading and thinking?
I mean, kind of gets my mind off of things, you know, thinking about different stuff, learning new things, keeps an interest and all of that. But at times, if I don't want to think about those kind of things, just, you know, trying to draw a blank and just stay present.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of...
Is it working?
Seems to be.
It seems to be working. Martin, isn't there somewhere in the Bible where it said that there was a man who had accomplished everything? He found security and wealth, and he had a lot of stuff, and then the next day he died or something like that?
Oh, yes, there was.
Where is that?
In the New Testament, I'll find it. But Solomon also talked about that.
What did he say about it?
About pursuing after all these things, and he called it all vanity.
Yeah, it really is. I wish that you could see how vain it is to spend a lifetime pursuing success and accomplishment and money and friendship and power and more of this and more of that. It is so shallow that it's sad. It really is. And yet we have been taught, the world teach. I mean, that's why most people go to college, because they want to accomplish stuff. And your parents teach you from day one, you need to accomplish this. So be the best in school, be the best in in college, be the best in business, be the best in that. And they traumatize you. And you don't know you're traumatized. You know something's wrong, but you don't know that you're traumatized, that you've been taken off course. Some of the worst people walking earth are those who are trying to accomplish something. This is Luke 12, 16, 21.
Then he told them a parable. There was a rich man who, having had a good harvest from his land, thought to himself, "What am I to do? I have not enough room to store my crops." Then he said, "This is what I will do. I will pull down my barns and build bigger ones, and store all my grain and my goods in them. And I will say to my soul, 'My soul, you have plenty of good things laid by for many years to come. Take things easy. Eat, drink, have a good time.' But God said to him, 'Fool, this very night the demand will be made for your soul. And this hoard of yours, whose will it be then?' So it is when someone stores up treasure for himself instead of becoming rich in the sight of God."
He had all this stuff, like most people try to do, or many people try to do today. You get all this stuff, and then your house catch on fire. Or someone steals it from you. Or you lose it, and you end up having nothing. Nothing. Because you put so much life into trying to get much, while your soul is nothing happening for it, is lost. And I know the reason I wanted to talk about this, because I'm with this family yesterday, counseling with them. I was asked to come over. Very, very wealthy family. Everybody and their mama wealthy, right? And yet, they have sickness in the family. The husband and wife are not getting along in the family. The children and the kids are all adults, but they're all messed up. I mean, just angry and in bad relationships and just all messed up. They hate their mothers and they hate their father, hate their mother and their father, and yet they have all the money you could get, and they still, it's not enough. So I said to them, you guys have, to the parents, you have worked hard and you have accomplished all of this stuff. They have houses and things that they own. And I said, look at your family. Look at your life. Look at how you get along. They haven't learned a thing from it. They think it's something else other than what it really is. They think that the kids are just being disobedient or spoiled, or the husband don't like the wife because of this or that. They are so blind as to what is really happening. Yet they have all the material things, well educated. They have both the father and mother have every kind of degree that you can get. But the entire family is screwed up. The mother walked into the room, and because we were all gathered in the room, getting ready to have this meeting, and the mother walked in, and her 40-year-old son was there, right? He's 40-something years old. And the son and mother greeted each other with a kiss on the mouth, on the lips. And I'm looking at this, I was stunned. And it was like a real kiss on the mouth, to the point that the lips made that smacking noise. You know how when you kiss a woman, don't your lips go? Isn't that right, guys? You guys have kissed a woman at one point, right? It was like that. It was like a man and woman, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife kiss. And then I'm looking at it, and the mother was like, looking at her son like, just getting life out of this. I'm like, this is sick. Absolutely sick, but everybody else thought it was fine except me. But that's how bad this family is. And yet they have every material thing that you can possibly want. And they're doing well. And a lot of folks are living like that. And they've been taught to live that way. As a matter of fact, most people, if they don't have all this stuff, they feel unworthy. They feel like they have failed in life. They feel that it's just never enough. And that's living a life of death. You're not connected to the tree of life. And you're dying, you're like the walking dead. So what I want to know, how many people understand what I'm talking about?
I do think you need your minimum needs met, at least, you know.
Like
And,
what?
Food on a table, roof on top of your head. But I do understand that just spending your whole life and energy just chasing it to increase what you have, it is a waste in a sense that you're eventually going to get old and die. And besides that, it just committing to something that material, like you mentioned, you can lose at any time, you know?
Yeah. So
and
why
killing, especially living your life of killing yourself to gain it, that part, killing yourself, is definitely not worth it.
Yeah. Why do you do it?
I personally don't feel that way, but I think it seems like it's a disease that's spread around, and it's the way of the world.
Why do you not do it? Why is it that you don't feel that way?
The freedom from it, it's better than to be like others who are competing against each other, being jealous of each other. It's better to be free from it, in a sense that I don't compare myself to the next man. Whatever I have, I'm happy with it. And that part of, you know, living your life, you know, like killing yourself, you know, stressing out, gaining more, not losing.
So you don't try to accomplish anything?
I don't kill myself over it, but when opportunity is there that I can accomplish it, I will move toward it, but I won't lose sleep over it. Or
do you find security in accomplishing things?
I do feel that the more money you have, the more secure you will feel.
And so do you try to make a lot of money so you can feel secure?
I feel like I feel it's needed for security. The feeling of security, it could be false. I do understand I could be wrong, but
you might not be wrong, so don't worry about what I'm saying.
I will.
So you do try to have a lot of money to feel secure.
I think that if I have more, I would feel more secure.
Right. And the more you get, do you feel more secure?
Well, right now, I'm at the point where I don't get much, so I wouldn't know. But
so right now you don't get much money, so you feel very insecure.
You can say that.
Is that true?
Yeah.
You feel insecure because you don't have money.
Yes.
What does that feeling feel like?
There's stress in it.
I'm sorry?
There is a stress in it.
Yeah.
And when you're living like making ends meet, barely, it's not the most secure feeling you can have. But if you think you can,
have you ever had a lot of money?
No.
Well, how do you know that money gonna make you feel secure?
It just feels like you'll be more at ease if you had it, because you don't have to worry about meeting your needs are met, you know?
Right.
Because most of the needs, I feel like it's money related.
Right. I understand.
And
How-
it feels like once those needs are met, then you'll be more at ease.
It seemed that way?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's amazing. Is it a possibility you could be wrong?
Definitely.
Oh, okay. Have you ever thought about, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong about this money thing. Maybe it doesn't make me feel secure.
The thing is, when I look at other aspects of my life, I don't feel much is bothering me or I'm insecure about it.
Right.
So it feels like had I had more, things would have been much at ease, you know, better.
Oh, okay. I understand. I really do. James, can you relate to this? Do you accomplish money and things to feel better? Feel secure?
Yeah,
You do? And why?
because I don't like the consequences of when I don't do it, so it kind of puts fear in me. So I'm kind of driven towards seeking that, and plus I have a lot of pride too. So it's if you get that stuff, you can hold on to. I can hold on to my pride.
You can. And most people, if not all, when they get that stuff, they do hold on to their pride. But yeah, it's not enough. They got to get more. Because the pride is never satisfied.
True.
Yeah. Amazing. Who taught you this, to be this way?
I was always taught to like do my homework and stuff like that as a kid growing up,
Yeah.
and I also read in the Bible that you're supposed to do everything as if it's unto God, and so I put my pride into that as though that's what I was doing.
Doing it unto God.
I was kind of imagining that I was doing that, yeah, when I was, because most people, I think the whole world teaches you to try your hardest.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Started with your parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely. How about you? Do you seek security in accomplishment or finance or anything?
I have, yeah.
You have? Do you still do it?
I've definitely seen myself doing that with sometimes with friends, people, just kind of what you were saying earlier, like almost like accumulating friends.
Yeah.
And in terms of monetary wealth, I've definitely done a lot of things to be hyper-focused on making money.
How did you become that way? Where accomplishment and finance was your security, something you need to be going after?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I grew up in an environment where I saw a lot of people that were succeeding in that sense. So I feel like, you know, I probably looked around and saw people making a lot of money and felt like that was something that I needed to do as well.
Yeah. And have you noticed that it does not bring security?
Yeah, I have noticed that, yeah.
And so why do you continue to do it if you notice that? You know what? I made a bucket load of money. I got a bucket load of friends, and I've done a bucket load of things, but I'm still not secure. Why keep seeking it, doing it, if you know it's not working? And I want to know that from other people too, but I'm just wondering, what is the motive? Why not stop when you see that it's not working?
Well, I mean, for me, it's, you know, you get in deep on the stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, you might see it intellectually, and you might have moments of, you know, a very sort of, very brief sort of capture moment where you say, wow, that's, you know, kind of too much, you know, getting into it too much. But it sort of feeds itself, and, you know, there's a tremendous engine around it, you know, that continues its, you know, locomotion. So it's sometimes hard to say, yeah, I just saw it entirely and I let go and I'm done and I'm not going to be that way anymore. I think that I've been fortunate on the business front to been able to understand this more, and what's happened is my whole kind of law career transformed, and I actually do it for the right reasons, and I'm not motivated by money. It doesn't mean I'm not making a lot of money. I actually am making more money now, and so on one level I have been blessed to be able to see that, but I also noticed that I've got into things and people, and it's a kind of a different thing, and you kind of get used to that stuff.
Do you know what to do to overcome it? I mean, do you believe that should be and can be overcome?
Yeah, I do believe you can overcome it. And I think that the way to overcome it is to be honest about it to yourself, and to have the opportunity to see it without judging it, so that you can understand what's really motivating you to do these things and to continue its being perpetrated.
So you believe that that's how you can overcome it, or you can see that that's how you overcome it?
Well, you asked me if I believe I can. I said, do I believe somebody can?
Yeah, you can believe you can overcome it.
I believe it can be overcome.
And then that's the way you overcome it, the way you just said?
Right, through having conversations like this, being honest about it, and just seeing it.
Do you want to overcome it?
Yeah, I mean, I've overcome a lot as it relates to this particular topic, so I believe strongly that I do. It's not that I've been able to overcome stuff like what I'm talking about, but I've been able to overcome certain things.
But you have not been able to overcome this. If you know the way to overcome it, and you believe it, you can overcome it, why not take that way and overcome it?
I haven't thought a lot about, with my career, I've actually have overcome it. But in terms of like friends and kind of what I would call things, like I just haven't looked at it, quite frankly, in any deep way. And this is making me think about it more today, but I just haven't looked at it.
So like the way that you just said, because we have people listening online here and the people in the audience, and some people are going to try that way, which you just said. Well, here's how you can overcome it. Are you sure that that's how you overcome it? Because some people are going to try that, or do you just think that's how you can overcome it?
The things that drive me are, there's something spiritual going on that's driving me to want these things. And so, to overcome that, I've got to pull away from that stuff and be willing to do that, and allow me to overcome the spirit of what's driving me.
How do you pull away from it? When you say, I got to pull away from it, how do you pull away from it? Isn't this fun? This is so fun. And hopefully it would get the people to start thinking, know thyself. One of the people at the meeting yesterday asked me, because they got a little ticked off at me, well, who you are? How do you get to be this way? They were like going off, right? How come you're different than everybody else? And I said, because I know myself. I got to know myself. And when I got to know myself, I saw, well, God allowed me to see what was holding me back in life from seeing. And when I was able to see that, He set me free. And so my life changed. Like anyone's life can do if they want to overcome. But the problem is, I don't think too many people want to overcome. I'm starting to believe that. I think people pretend for a while. Because I've seen just in this church alone, I see folks come here, they get it, oh, I got it. And then you don't see them anymore. It's like they're not thinking of their fellow man. So how do you think you got it if you got it, now you're gone? You're not even trying to help others or anything. You don't have it. Because once you get it, it's not yours to keep at all. Because the more you give it away, the more you get. It's like life. But anyway, go ahead.
I think in this case, at least for me, it's kind of I don't know, maybe a couple-step process. But one is having a really good conversation about something like this where I can kind of unemotionally observe myself and what's going on. And, the second step really is to kind of, when I say pull away from it, just, quiet down on your activities. If your issue is friends, then, don't see as many friends and see what's going on with your spirit, when you do that. And so I think that through that, if you're blessed, you will be having an opportunity to see what actually drives you, and you can get over something like wanting to see too many people or, wanting to work too hard. But you have to be willing to go through that.
How serious is returning to the Father? How important is that to you? And then I want to ask this young man here too. How important is that to you?
It's very important.
Is it important enough to let that become the number one thing in your life?
Yeah, I feel like, it's the only thing that's important is that.
Then why aren't you doing it?
Who said I'm not doing it?
Are you doing that?
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Returning to the Father is the number one thing in your life.
It's the only thing.
The only important thing in your life.
Right.
Okay. How about for you? Is seeking Him first, returning to the Father, is that number one in your life?
Yes, having inner peace is what I put as number one, and the way to it is going to Father.
How do you know that it's number one in your life?
Because
And the reason I'm emphasizing on this because it has to be that's the rule, that's the law. Seek first the kingdom of God, His right way, and all shall be added unto you. It's the rule. So you can't do it secondly and think that, you can't put it in second place and think it's going to work. So that's why I'm asking. Go ahead.
I do think once you have that, everything else is not going to seem important, and you're not going to be moved by.
So are you seeking that first?
Yeah, it's a priority. I think I would want that before anything else I would want.
And what are you
But
doing?
I don't know if I'm trying hard enough or I'm sacrificing hard enough. I would sometimes, temptation would be there, and then I might put it aside.
Okay. I understand. It's, right now, my voice, I can't go up or down, so I may seem mean. Do I seem mean right now?
No,
okay.
I've been here.
okay.
I've been here enough times to know better, So.
Okay.
Right.
That's good. Did you have your hand? Oh, okay.
You ask a good question when you ask, do we really want it, to make it number one in our life?
Right.
And I think, I know that it's not been number one. I wanted it to be. I kind of pretended like I wanted it to be,
A lot
and
of
all that
people
kind
pretend.
of stuff. I see the value of it, in other, but I don't really want to put it aside. When little things come up, I'll give into a thought. In other words, instead of like every thought into captivity,
Right.
I'll
Every thought.
you know what? This is kind of important, so I'll go with the thought. And then it's not proof that I'm really, it's proof that I'm not really dedicated to it completely.
Oh, good. I have, thank God, because I didn't make myself this way. Even as a kid, I've always wanted to know, what is it like to live on earth? I didn't want to wait till I die or died. Because most people say, oh, don't worry about it. You'll get it when you get to heaven. How do you know you're going to heaven, first of all? But I wanted to know, what is it like to be on earth and live as a son of God. To me, that's always been the most important thing in my life. It was just there, even when I was growing up, And I have to tell you, now that I have a taste of it, it is amazing. It is mind-blowing. It's nothing like what I thought it would be like. You can't even think what it would be like, what it would be, because your mind is of your father, the devil, and he's going to deceive you in everything that you think. So whatever you think, it's not like that. You really have to live it. You have to discover it. It's like you going back home to the Father. You're going back to being a kid, and now you can trust Him, and you're just a peaceful person, knowing that your Father's with you, and things are just pretty cool.
You talk a lot about we don't know God, we just know of God because we read the Bible. I think the same is true. I just had a thought, while sitting here, that I know about myself, but I don't really know myself.
That's right.
And
when you get to know yourself, you are no good. There's no good in you. Just don't take a pill when you find out you're no good. It's okay not to be any good.
I really struggle with that when I see different times of how really no good I am. I mean, that really rocks my world.
Why is it a struggle?
Because I'm not happy seeing it. It's devastating.
Well, then you're never going to get over it then, because it's your ego that's causing you not to want to see the ego, and the ego is no good.
Right.
So you're never going to get over it. It's going to be like Raymond.
It's a serious catch-22. You think you want to see yourself. You think you want to know yourself.
Yeah.
And it's really just not true. And
I believe that's what the problem is.
Yeah.
Most people they hear you say, oh, get to know yourself, right? And they say, oh, that's so cute. I'm going to get to know myself. And the next time you see them, they're getting to know themselves. But nothing is happening because they are not accepting what they see. They make a decision about it. If they see they're no good, they judge it. I'm no good. I'll never be any good, rather than just seeing it and having no opinion about it.
I want to look good. I want to strut. I want to, whether it's in wisdom, like say if I start to say something, I'll be like just sitting back inside myself going, wow, you look really good doing that.
Yeah.
And it's just all about looking good.
So you suffer.
Yeah.
And die.
I have suffered, and I almost died.
Yeah.
So it kind of helped to make me want to focus a little bit more on it.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's unfortunate that Christ came and put everything back in order, and all that is required of us is to live. That's all that's required. And the average person or average people are not doing that. That's amazing, not living. I was talking to some family members some time ago, in recent time, and they were saying that the white people hate Barack Obama. They said they were telling me that white people are racist against him. I said, well, it was the white people who put him in office. If white folks had not voted for him, he would have never become president. But they still racist. They wouldn't let him do anything that he wanted to do. I'm like, have you looked around lately? Where you been? And these were Christians, church going, Bible toting, tongue talking, Monday through Friday, church going folks. And I said to them, first of all, there's no such thing as racism. It doesn't exist. It's a lie that's been made up. And they hit the ceiling. And so I said, okay. And I asked each one of them, are you a Christian? They all said yes. I said, show me in the scriptures where it says it's racism. And so they couldn't find it. It's not there, so they just start making up excuses. Well, it's racism anyway. We were enslaved because of racism. I said, well, white people enslaved white people. Was that because of racism? And they lied and said yes. They would not accept reality. There's no such thing. I said, the Bible says, and according to God, our battle is a spiritual battle. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spirits and principalities and evil and wickedness in high places. Everything we do is spiritual. And they paused, and then they said, yeah, that's right, but still white people are racist. They wouldn't let it go. I'm like, this is mind-blowing. How can you be a Christian and believe that our battle is a physical battle? You can't be a Christian and believe that. And I've noticed, though, ever since I've started saying that there's no such thing as racism, it's hard for people to accept that. And the reason that it's hard because we've heard it for so many years. I said, somebody sent me a text or something, and they said the word racism didn't even appear until the 1940s, right? Was that right, James?
Something like that.
Yeah, that was no such word as racism until the 40s. So if there was no such thing until the 40s, no such word until the 40s, how is it that when black people were enslaved by white people, how is it that that was racism? I told them it's either right or wrong, good or evil. It's a spiritual thing. And they did not want to accept it because it's shocking. When you want to hate somebody, how do you get rid of your excuse for hating them? They didn't want to get rid of that excuse, the so-called racist thing. So that's why they didn't want to get rid of that word. Because if they got rid of it, now they can't hate the white people. They can't blame the white people. It's all on them. Isn't that amazing? And angry people love to have excuses. They got to be blaming somebody for it. So that's why they didn't want to let it go. Yes, James?
This comment was on one of your YouTube videos from a couple months back.
Okay.
This person said, I feel ashamed and hide from Jesus. I always let him down, which leads me to this spiritual depression. I feel like I can't even pray as I am not a man of my word with God. I'm not going to give in, though.
And that's what we're talking about now. First of all, you're not hiding from Jesus. But what you are doing is judging yourself. You can't have an opinion about yourself or anything or anyone. So when you see that you're not doing what the scripture says do, it's enough to just see it, but don't call it good, don't call it evil, don't call it right or wrong. The fact that you can see it is all that God requires of you, because in seeing it is admitting that you're wrong. People who don't see what they're doing, they run away from it, are not confessing their sins. So they're on the run. But if you could just see it, you're doing just fine. Just don't hate it. Don't make an opinion. Like I was saying, I can see that I'm just no good. I don't understand what it is that God sees in me that he would treat me so well, like a father. But I'm grateful. And yeah, I don't feel deserving, but I don't hate myself for what I see either. Because of myself, I can do nothing. So why hate something that I can't change? You got to stop having an opinion about it. The more you hate it or the more you love it, the worse you become. And just relax and enjoy it and let it be. So here's what you need to do, what I recommend, instead of seeking security in people, places, and things. Did you have a quick question? Go ahead.
I think you answered your own question when you said, I don't see why God has bestowed this kindness upon me. I think it's because you have some ability to be grateful for what you see.
Well, I am grateful, but I also know not to hate myself. Because I realize whatever's happened, I'm not in control either way. But I'm stone grateful. How many of you have that longing on the inside, like something is missing? no matter how much you have, no matter where you go, how much money you have or don't have, there still seems to be that little void there. So when you do get money, you do get friendship, you do get this, it still doesn't really satisfy you. Just 2 people have that? Oh, good. So if only 2 people have it, so nobody else in this room have that longing, that void, like something is still missing, except these 2, right? How did you overcome it?
I used to feel that way.
Yeah.
But I think like meditating, and the more I meditate, the more I don't feel that way anymore.
It's leaving?
Yeah.
So it's still there somewhat, but it's leaving.
Sometimes it still kind of show up, but
Yeah.
not as much as it used to.
Okay, so it's still there then. So you do have it. It's not gone completely.
No.
Oh, okay. Let me ask the young lady next to you. Do you have that? Like, deep down in there, something that's still missing?
Yes.
You do have that. How come only 2 people raised their hand then? Okay, you do have it. Do you have that in the cap?
Not tons. I mean,
I'm sorry?
not a lot. No.
You have it sometimes?
I guess I like to be around people and talking to people and stuff. And if I'm away from people for long periods of time, or that's not so great. But I can also be alone with myself for a pretty long period of time too and be okay.
So you said, but sometimes you do feel that?
I guess that would be kind of like the only void. I mean, like I could go without TV or video games or phone or anything like that without feeling like a void. But otherwise, no, I'm not sure.
No, I used to, so.
And you never have it now?
I'm tempted by it.
What does that mean, I'm tempted by it?
I'll have a memory about something and I'll feel like, wow, it'd be nice.
So you have it sometimes then?
I don't have it. I get temptations and I know it's not a trick. That's not going to make you happy. That's not real.
So the void, that emptiness come and tempt you? Does it say, hey, feel empty?
Yeah.
And tell you that?
Well, I get tempted. Things on the outside, I'll see and I'll say,
Amazing.
if I have that, I'll be happy. And I know that that's not going to make me happy.
Here's what I recommend, folks. That longing that you have, that void that you have, that emptiness that you have deep down inside, that longing that comes when you're by yourself or sometimes even when you're with people or whatever, don't fulfill that with anything. I want you to go toward it, fill it, and leave it open. Leave it empty, because everything that you fill it with will destroy you. It's not going to satisfy that void. That void is a longing for the Father, for God. And if you leave it open, even if you are out there making money and doing whatever it is you do, don't do it to fulfill that emptiness, which is going to be impossible. Because look at all the rich people, look at all the rich entertainers. And they're all like messed up. They're on pills, their families are messed up, they're unhappy. They got all the money that you can have. And that's not satisfying them. But you got to leave that emptiness open so that the love of God can come in and fulfill it. Because everything else that you fulfill it with is temporary. It's not going to satisfy that. You need to return to the tree of life. And when you leave it open, don't have an opinion about it, but leave it open. Stop running away from it. Then it will be taken care of. You shall be fulfilled. But you got to fill it. You got to leave it open. Don't be in denial about it. But you got to leave it open. And it's something that only God can do. No man, no woman, no money, no accomplishments, no where you live, nothing is going to fulfill that. And once it is fulfilled, it's never empty again. You never feel it again. Once it's done, in 28 years of being fulfilled in that emptiness, I've never had it since. And I had it prior to that. I went to church, I read the Bible, I did all those things. But when I saw what was wrong and realized of myself I could do nothing, I stopped trying to fulfill those things, that emptiness I had. God came in, fulfilled it with love, and I've not been the same since. But you got to leave it open. You got to leave that wide open. Don't deceive yourself because you're not connected to the Father. Anything else that fulfills that is your connection. And that can disappear at any time. Your house can burn down. You can go bankrupt. You can lose all your little so-called friends. Everything can change just like that. And now you want to jump off the bridge. But once he comes in and fulfill that, it's done. Then you can live. Then you have a truckload of fun. Nothing's that important to you. And all your needs are met. You can take it or leave it. And it just, you start to live because now you're connected or reconnected to the tree of life. You're the branch and he's the tree.
You know, I've never looked at my emotions as an emptiness, but I think that's what it is. Whenever I have fear about what's going to happen, so I have to do this in order to keep that from happening, that is my fears, my desires, all those things are my emptiness.
Every human being that has fear or doubt or worry or insecurity, looking for happiness in all the wrong places, is empty. It all comes from that because once you are fulfilled, once your soul has reconnected with life, you never feel that way again. Never. No matter if you're with someone or by yourself or whatever people say about you or don't say about you, you never ever feel that way again because you have been fulfilled with the identity and the love of your Creator. And that's why Christ came, to bring peace, to bring life, to make a way for us to return to the Father. And it's really simple, but you got to let go so it can happen. And don't, for those out there especially, don't pretend like you know something you don't know. Don't quote the scriptures just to look good, because you're only deceiving yourself. Because you got to live with you. Now, and so when you're out with your little friends, quote the scriptures, you may impress them, but as soon as you get in your car to go home or you by yourself, reality sets in. So why fool yourself? And I see that a lot. Stop fooling yourself and stop trying to impress others. You want to become the light of the world. You're not going to become that way trying to, by pretending that you have something you don't have. And repeating what you heard. It's so dumb. It just hit me. It's so dumb to do that. It's another trick of the devil. Because if you knew, just think about it, then I'm done. If you knew the answer, you'd be living it. If it were revealed to you, you'd be fulfilled. And you can't know the truth and not be fulfilled. And when you get a chance, I want you to read John 4:12 and Corinthians 14:25. It's all in there. I'm not making this up. It's in there. It's time to live, folks, and stop dying. You don't need to die. All the folks who have been fulfilled, they don't have to worry about death. They've already made that sacrifice. All those who have not are dying. You are dying while pretending that you're living. And you don't even know you're dying, but you're dying. But it's also in your heart, too. If you didn't have the Bible, you would still know the truth. It's written in your heart. The Word made flesh. You can know it without even reading it in the Bible. But I just give the Bible out sometime because I know that there are some folks, well, where is that in the Bible? Like they're going to believe it when they see it in the Bible. They are reading in the Bible and still won't believe it. Intellectually they will, but it changes nothing. That's not in the Bible.
God walks the dark hills, 'cause he loves you.
success and accomplishment and money and friendship and power and more of this and more of that. It is so shallow that it's sad. It really is. And yet we have been taught, the world teach. I mean, that's why most people go to college, because they want to accomplish stuff. And your parents teach you from day one, you need to accomplish this. So be the best in school, be the best in college, be the best in business, be the best in that. And they traumatize you. And you don't know you're traumatized. You know something's wrong, but you don't know that you're traumatized, that you've been taken off course. Some of the worst people walking earth are those who are trying to accomplish something. This is Luke 12:16-21.
Then he told them a parable. There was a rich man who, having had a good harvest from his land, thought to himself, "What am I to do? I have not enough room to store my crops." Then he said, "This is what I will do. I will pull down my barns and build bigger ones, and store all my grain and my goods in."
They're just dying and have no idea about it. It was really a sad situation to see that yesterday. So I'm grateful, and hopefully that others will start waking up. My question today is, I want to know, are you seeking security in finance or accomplishments or anything? Power, accomplishment. Everybody's trying to accomplish a lot. They wake up in the morning, got to go out and accomplish something to be successful at something. And so I want to know, are you seeking security in accomplishment or finance or anything, power or anything like that? Influence. People love to influence. How do you seek security? In what area?
Man, not 100% sure about that. I mean, go to work, make sure I have a place to stay.
I'm sorry?
Going to work, having a place to stay, all of that kind of stuff.
Right.
But beyond that, do you mean like going for something larger than just your basics?
Right.
Okay. Do I find security in
What do you find security in?
I'm not sure. Really.
Depressed. They become suicidal. They take medication in order to forget that they're no good, because they want to feel good. The ego always want to feel like it's important, and they want to feel good. And so if you're not aware of that, you cannot handle seeing that you're no good. And I really can see, if you're not ready for true salvation or to be born again, you might as well just continue to be a walking dead. Most people are walking dead and they don't know it. I was at a meeting yesterday and I saw it so clearly, and I was like, wow, it's just so unfortunate. They can't see, and I couldn't either up until the last 28, 29 years now. I didn't know I was a walking dead. I was having fun, partying and doing all that kind of stuff. But yeah, in those quiet moments, alone moments, I could feel that sense of something's wrong, something's missing, just to know how to overcome it. But human beings, except for those who've been born again, are walking dead. They are not connected to the tree of life, and so they really don't have a life. And they don't know it.
Books, thinking.
Reading books and thinking?
Yeah, kind of like, that's my time to kind of get away. And I guess if I don't get that, I don't feel as secure.
What type of security do you find in reading and thinking?
I mean, kind of gets my mind off of things, thinking about different stuff, learning new things, keeps an interest and all of that. But at times, if I don't want to think about those kind of things, just, trying to draw a blank and just stay present.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of...
Is it working?
Seems to be.
It seems to be working. Martin, isn't there somewhere in the Bible where it said that there was a man who had accomplished everything. He found security and wealth, and he had a lot of stuff, and then the next day he died or something like that.
Oh, yes, there was.
Who is that?
In the New Testament, I'll find it. But Solomon also talked about that,
What did he say about it?
about pursuing after all these things, and he called it all vanity.
Yeah, it really is. I wish that you could see how vain it is to spend a lifetime pursuing. For a while I had a sore throat, but I lost my voice, and I still feel like it's a struggle to talk now, so I'm going to keep it at an even keel here because I got a speaking engagement on Monday, and I have to do my radio show 3 hours, so I have to be cool. I am so fortunate. I'm blessed. And I am not worthy of it at all. That's what's so amazing about it. I don't see where I deserve it at all, but I'm grateful. And it's a life that I never, if I knew as a kid, but I forgot that it existed. And it's amazing to me how God, my Father, give me insight and just really, really treat me well, and I don't deserve it. One of the reasons that most people don't look at themselves, they don't want to get to know themselves, because when they do look at themselves, they see that they're no good. And so what they do when they see that, they get